Hello everybody, welcome back. We're here to cover race number 3 from Monza. This is the Pro 1 League, if you couldn't tell by the title and the thumbnail and all that stuff. So let's have a quick look for the grid. So this is the one in the Aston Martins. This is the one mate race where everyone qualifies for it. Qualifying was really tight here. It can depend on if you got a slipstream or not. I didn't get a slipstream from our lap, but we'll come to that. In pole position, we'll do this for you actually. Moved up from a lower league is V-Show 10. A really good lap time. I think there wasn't much between us, to be fair. I'll have to check my VOD, but there was only a couple of hundredths of a second, I think, between us. It was pretty close. Then there's me and P2. You don't really want to be on the front row at Monza either, so me and him are at a bit of a disadvantage. We've got Infinity Decals P3. He had a good lap. He really likes the Aston as well, so it's a good car for him. We've got Chi-Chi in 4th with his car covered in sausages. We've got CJW-Racing in 5th. He was the pole sitter last time out. Tim 27, he's in 6th. Then we've got Mung in 7th. Warmid qualified 8th. GT Raffo in 9th. Surfer Ev, he's 10th today with Piper alongside him in 11th. Now we've got Tricky Tree in 12th on pad power. Zaf in 13th, and then JC in 14th. So let's get the action underway from Monza. As always, turn 1 can be a little bit of a cluster, so we might end up just skipping this and rewinding and have a look at some incidents. But revs rising, looking for false starts. I think there was one car at the back there that got away quite slowly, but most of the people at the front got away well. Myself and V. We're pretty much neck and neck coming into turn 1 for the first time. I've got the inside line, optimal for me. I get a little bit of a tap from Chi-Chi, just people getting braking a little bit wrong. I do manage to nip through Infinity Decals there. It's got reset, so we are going to just nip back and have a look at Infinity Decals and just see what happened. But looks like everyone else got through okay. So let me just cut away and go and see what happened to Infinity Decals there. On board Infinity Decals car, he lost a position off the start, but that's no big concern. Alright, so he goes left to avoid it, and then he gets a clank from behind. It looks like it was a quick fit car. So yeah, unfortunately Infinity Decals then, through no fault of his own, from 3rd to 13th on the grid from the start of the race. So he's got a lot of work to do this afternoon. What else is going on up ahead? Let's have a quick peekaroo. So myself and Vin breaking away at the top. Tim's coming under a lot of pressure from Chi-Chi, so you're actually Warmid. Looks like at least one car, that was Chi-Chi, just went a little bit too deep there, so he's had to go off track. I think everyone else seemingly got through the Ratifila for the first time okay. Little bits and bobs of contact, but it is the Touring Car Championship after all, so that was kind of to be expected. Myself and Vin are starting to break away a little bit. You'll notice something on my car, by the way. I'm just going to mention it now, just on the back. The little pink ribbon that's on my car, and that is basically in honour of one of the MRC stalwarts. His mother sadly passed away recently, so we all just put a little mark of respect on our cars for her. So this race, we race this week in honour of her as well. Vin's putting me under increasing pressure now, so he's going to try definitely a move down into turn 1. Two Michelin boys trying to catch up to Tim, although they're doing a little bit of infighting, which probably isn't recommended. Mung's leading the next little pack, which consists of Raffo, Tricky, Zaf, Surfer, and Infinity Decals, and then we've got JC at the back of that. Right, so top 2, we are side by side coming into turn 1. It's you'll notice I don't defend this. It's kind of no point. If we just fight, I go deep here anyway, I make an absolute cluster of that, I just get too deep. I don't bother going the defensive line because it'll just slow us both down too much. It already lost us time because of my mistake to Tim, so I don't need to compound that anymore. So Tim's now starting to reel us back in a little bit. But it's mostly line astern then as we come down towards Ratifila for the second time of asking. A couple of cars looking like they might be shaping up moves. I saw Zaf looking at a move then. I also saw Surfer Ev on Tricky Tree looking at a move. Was the surfer late on the brakes down the insides? A little bit of contact with Tricky, but I think Tricky made it out intact. The guys you see ghosting, they're serving penalties, so yeah, I've made a mistake somewhere. I made a mistake at that corner, by the way, so I've really dropped back now into the clutches of this pack. So I now have lost the slipstream from the car ahead, which is critical, and I'm now just punching a hole in the air for everyone else, which is not cool if you've not realised that. You'll notice these penalties being carried by some drivers. These are penalties issued by the game. Monza is a track which is fair in its application of penalties, but they are quite severe. So you'll get these track cut penalties for little minor track indiscretions. The rule in the game, the rule in the championship is you can carry those penalties as long as you damn well please, but you cannot overtake while you are carrying one. So if Walwood wants to get past his teammate here, he's got to burn that penalty away to do so. It's got some sensible objectives to that. So if obviously Tim's making a move on me, it's going to have a look at this. If a car crashes, or you know what I mean, that would make sense. So Tim made a slipstream move on me. I'm just going to try and get that move made back. I'm going to brake in, nice and late on the brakes, get this move made around the outside this time. Good respectful racing from Tim. He was very aware of the situation and gave room where necessary. We saw Mr. Piper go a little bit deep as well. That's going to close that pack up. So we're going to have Mung, Raffo, Tricky, Surfer Infinity Decals. He's still just struggling to get through the pack a little bit here. He's maybe going to try and move on Surfer at this point. The Rettifilo is not a great place to make a move happen. Does everyone survive? Mung was sideways, Tokyo drifting it through then. But I think everyone survived that one for this time being. Infinity Decals past Surfer now up to P11, so he's starting to sieve his way through the field. Is Mr. Robinson. He's doing a good job so far. So Chi-Chi, he was having a look then. I think he's just burning away a bit of his penalty. Tim's now got a little bit of a penalty, which I can see, so I can see by looking back that he's got that, and unless he gets rid of it, he can't overtake, so it does like to take a little bit of the pressure off. But you will burn those penalties sort of naturally through the course of the race anyway. So Vin leading the way convincingly at this point. When you're in the lead, it's kind of easier when you're in the lead, I guess, because you've not got to worry about anyone. But at the same point, he's getting no slipstream, so he's all out on his own at the minute. So he's getting no slipstream. These lap times he's doing, if he's doing 56s and that, it's impressive laps to say he's getting no slip, so kudos to him. But at the same point, he's not having to drive defensively, he's not having to worry about anyone behind him, so he can manage his pace a little bit better as well. So there's pros and cons to leading a race at a track like this, especially when you're not giving slipstream away. I've just done that horrible thing, you know, where you've made a cup of tea and you forgot to drink it and then it's gone cold. Yeah, that's just happened to me. It's ruined my day, that has. Right, what's going on? Well, we have a little bit of movers and shakers happening. Infinity Decals now trying to make his way past Tricky Tree as well. So P11 for Infinity Decals. He's wanting to make this P10, but he does have Zaffarino fighting him as well. He does go for the move down the inside. Oh, yellow flags are out. That means we've got a car off the circuit. Oh, we did have a car off the circuit. Who is it? Oh, that was Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi forgot there was a corner there, I think. So he's 6 at the minute, it's Chi-Chi. This is the quick replay going back through Rettifilo. Yeah, he didn't brake till 50, yeah, it's straight on, and then he gets reset for thanks game. That's an automatic reset applied by the game, by the way. It's nothing we set in the league. We'd turn them off if we could because they're annoying. That does put Chi-Chi in the path of Infinity Decals, who is already making a rampage through the field, so he will start to come under a little bit of pressure. GT Raffo with a little bit of a penalty now, so he can't overtake Dave Piper while he's got that penalty. I've got a little bit. I've got about half a second, but again, I'm not aiming to. It'd be nice if I was in a position to overtake right now, but I'm not. So I'm just going to burn that away naturally. Tim at this point wasn't close enough to launch an immediate attack, so if anything it was going to be a slipstream move by Tim. So again, the concern wasn't really there at this stage to necessarily defend to that. We've got Rafa there, just burning away a little bit of penalty. That move didn't get made, of course, because you're not allowed. Tricky with a second and a bit's worth of penalty, so he's got to get rid of that before he can get ahead of anyone else as well. Now let's talk pit stops. So Monza's quite a low deg circuit in that it doesn't take too much stress off your tyres. But at the same point, with the way these Aston Martins were, if you started losing your rears, it was only going to make that problem worse as Tim goes a little bit deeper. It was only going to make that problem worse of the back end snapping out from you. So a safety pit stop was sort of in mind, but I wanted a bit of a gap before I did it because you don't want to come out in traffic. So I was constantly looking at the gaps and the map just to see where people were. Needed about 10 seconds there or thereabouts to make a pit stop, so at this point I'm not worried about tyre wear, but I am just trying to put in some good laps now. Now I'm back in the 56s because I need to really come out. I need stuff to happen really, so I can try and retain my place if I do make a pit stop. It was the only way I was going to catch Finn up ahead, who I'm pretty confident wasn't stopping. I'm not very good at saving my tyres, as you may or may not know anyway, so I tend to stop just because I feel more comfortable with doing that. So Surfer then's dropped down to 12th somewhere. So he might have made, I remember this in shot, I think he just made a little bit of a braking error down into T1 at one point. Infinity Decals has surged through the fields. Next victim is Tricky Tree. Tricky's got rid of all that penalty, so he's done really well to do that. Mung's having a good race, P7 for Mung so far. Nice and consistent as far as his lap times are going, 57.8, 57.8, 57.9. Similar stuff can be said for Dave Piper. Although he runs a little bit wide out of parabolic, and that is going to give Mung the shot he needs to try and get past. Meanwhile, the battle for third is a three-way fight down into turn 1. Tim does defend that, late on the brakes, late as he dare, and yet Warmid and CJW-Racing aren't able to execute anything from that. Nice move by Infinity Decals on Tricky Tree, but he gets the second part of that corner a little bit wrong, and that's just going to give him some pressure now from Zaf. GT Rafa, meanwhile, all the way at the back. His last lap was a 2:06. He made a big error somewhere, did GT Rafa. Surfer going for another lunge down the inside. It is. It is. What was that cluster? Oh no, that was actually. No, that was Zaf. So Zaf went for a move down the inside of Chi-Chi, ended up, looks like, giving that place back because there was contact at the corner, so Chi-Chi keeps his P9 for now. We know Infinity Decals is going to be coming for that position. Again at the top, a little bit of contact there between Warmid and Tim. Let's have a look at this. Let's go on board roof cam. So he's going to get a good slipstream then, coming down towards Ascari. Yes, this move's pretty much going to be made already. Nice livery there by that one, Tim. Tim backs out. Tim actually backs out of that move. Yeah, this is just... Yeah, Warmid just kept too much speed, and a mistake all by himself, really. Tim even has to slow down to not hit the car when he comes back on track. So I'll get very close. That might be the break I need. So that's given me a couple of seconds. Right, okay, so I've now got a little bit of the pressure lifted away from me now. These guys are going to keep fighting by the looks of things. Swarmid, CJW-Racing, Tim going to keep battling away. CJW-Racing holds the fastest lap of the race as it stands at 55.8. But you can see how much that fighting's slowing down. Suddenly from the 55s into the 58s. Just because of all that battling they were doing. Is it going to happen again, coming down to T1? No, that's defended there by CJW-Racing. And I've got Infinity Decals has now made that move on Chi-Chi, a nice move down into T1, nice and tidily done. Alright then, so we've got potential pit stops coming up soon. Let's see how this one plays out. For the time being, it is just that everlasting battle for position that's going on here. Okay. It is getting very frantic here in the battle for P6. We've got Tricky Tree, Tim, Piper, and I think that's Infinity Decals just tucked in behind Dave Piper there in P9. Just on board with Tricky Tree, looking at the back of his car, you can see Tim's trying to get a move made on him. Does Tim try and launch one down the inside? It looked like Dave Piper was very late on the brakes, and that's going to send Tricky Tree round in the spin. He gets collected. Oh, there's a big accident here. This is a big accident. Let's come back and have a look from Infinity Decals' perspective, because he got a front row seat for this, quite literally. Nothing he could do. Nothing he could do. That does send Tricky and Infinity Decals round. You can see a car there is waiting. And that is Dave Piper waiting. He's ghosted out, so he's going to wait for those cars to resume ahead of him. Accidents will happen. It's GT racing. All we sort of ask the drivers to do is to keep the sportsmanlike behaviour up, and if they hit someone, cause them to go off, we ask them to give the place back. That's exactly what you saw happen there. So incidents will happen, especially when you've got people of all abilities. And like you've seen with this track, it just causes that. And these cars are a bit tricky as well, so yeah, those incidents will invariably happen from time to time. Right, a bit on my progress. I'm breaking away a little bit. I did look at pits this lap, thought, nah, if I pitted now, I would come out probably near Mung. And I didn't want to be that far behind the two Michelin cars, ideally. We have got Tim in though. Tim's going to pit, so he's in for a fresh set of boots. A lot of drivers will no stop this, but their tyres will just be gone by the end of the race. It is of course doable, with it being a low deck circuit. Infinity Decals now trying to rescue his race. He's going to try and get past Tricky Tree again. But the problem these boys have now got is there is a fair old gap to the cars ahead of them, so any moves for these guys are going to be quite hard to make. Jace is now trying to get involved in the action as well. Raffo, Chi-Chi and Piper all now on fresh rubber. Someone who isn't on fresh rubber is Vin leading the way. A constant 56 laps. I dipped into the 57s last time out. I was starting to feel my tyres. I really was having an issue. Lack of practice and just had generally not being that fast anyway. I was already starting to see some issues with the tyre wear. So I moved the brake balance around just to try and get the car a little bit more settled on the front. But yeah, that led me to think I probably would want to stop. Just to be on the safe side. There's quite a lot of gaps between all the cars now. This is first time in nearly 20 minutes I could say that. A little bit of spacing happening between everybody. Everyone is social distancing responsibly. So I'm going to carry on for this lap. We're going to 57.2 that time around. So yeah, losing pace. CJW-Racing's going to pit. So he's going to go on to a fresh set of super softs. And they'll see nicely through to the end of the race. Zaffarino's in as well. And Tim, who pitted earlier, will probably just try and pick up a couple of positions now. Surfer Ev, he's carrying on as well. He's got decent tyre wear on that car. That car's not looking in too bad shape at all. Mungs have seen better days. Walmids have. Mine definitely have. Mine and Vin's about the same in terms of wear. He's just able to manage his pace a lot better. Into the pits comes the PlayStation Aston Martin. Who am I competing with here? I'm looking to get out in front of Mung. This was sort of like the gap I was aiming for, this big vast yawning chasm of a gap in front. I am coming out of the pits now, so yeah, I've come out ahead of Mung. Behind Walmid. Now Walmid's on very worn soft tyres, so now I'm on super softs. And I am got about 8 minutes left, so about 4 or 5 laps. It's pedal to the metal now, just to try and get Walmid. Catching this dude pretty much out of the equation. He's a good 10 seconds up the road now, and unless he pits, that gap won't come down. He's managing to do low 57s on worn tyres, and that's good enough. So he's doing what he needs to do. Walmid's similar pace, so low 57s, but is a much more attainable target. At this point, he's only a couple of seconds up the road. What else? We've got Mung, who's not pitted yet. We've got CJW-Racing, who has. So CJW-Racing's going to be on fresh tyres and probably be able to get that move made. Surfrev hasn't pitted. He was near the back, if you remember. Tim has. So again, Tim might be looking for a move on Surfer. Zaffarino's pitted, so is Raffo, so is Tricky Tree, so is Infinity Decals. In fact, most people have pitted. JC hasn't, but most people have peeled off into the pits at this point and got a fresh set of tyres on. If Walmid pits now, will come out about where CJW-Racing is, I reckon. So between near him and Munga, he'd come out in this fight, I think. Then he does pit. Right, so Walmid does pit. Does he come out near that battle? I think he will, you know. Yep, so there he comes out the pits. He's going to come out just behind that fight, but importantly, he's going to have the freshest tyres of all of them. CJW-Racing then, just trying to get past Mung. Mung gets a little bit of a tap from Walmid, and he's going to be Mung's going to be under attack now from the other Michelin car. Surferev, not so much of a threat. He's also got worn tyres. My task now is just to go as fast as I can, just to see if I can catch. He's setting purple sectors, the fastest of anyone so far. Just to see if I can catch Vin up ahead, basically, or try and reduce that gap. At this point, bearing in mind I've done 11.5 seconds. 11.5 seconds in 5 minutes. It's going to be tough. He's still ramping in low to mid 57s. So to do that sort of pace, for me to catch him, he would have to be dipping it into the 59s and 60s. He'd have to be going into the 2 minutes range, really, which he wasn't doing. So he's alright at the minute. But I was hoping the mental mind game of just seeing the deficit, the delta between us just drop like a stone at this point, I was hoping would help me in my efforts. We see there, Walmid's got a move made on Mung. So moves down towards the Ascari are risky. Walmid actually tucked in there, didn't go for that move, but because Mung went a little bit deep, he was able to get that move made. Yeah, Walmid wasn't going to go for that. You can tell the body language of the car, he wasn't going to go for that. Mung's picked up a little bit of a penalty for his efforts. Surfer Ev and Tim will now fight it out for the last couple of minutes. These guys at the back were sort of spaced out enough. We've got Infinity Decals and Tricky Tree. They could have a bit of a spicy ending. I don't know what's happened to Dave Piper. Has he just pitted? His lap 8 was horribly slow. He must have had an off. I'm guessing he's had an off somewhere. So yeah, fastest lap of the race so far for me, 55.7. So that lap for me, 55.7, 57.7. So I was 2 seconds faster than Vin that lap. That's the difference in tyre wear. Considering how close we were in pace in qualifying, that pretty much just tyre wear difference. But neither of us were getting slipstream. So I can start to see him now. The gap's going to be into 9.4 now. So I'm not going to get him, but might as well try. You know what I mean? It's fun. If he has that off, I can capitalise. Tim inventing new routes to take that second chicane. We've still got Tricky and Infinity Decals fighting away. Cheech is not far off that little battle as well. Cheech is just lurking in the background there. So you never know, that could come to something. Tricky Tree at the minute, oh, nice lines there through the Lesmo. And it's surviving for the time being. So going around to start his 15th lap. We're probably going to have 16 laps in total for a lot of the guys in the top, so 57.9 that time round. 55.4 that time for me, so a new fastest lap of the race. And Mung's got a lot of penalties, 1.7 seconds. So getting to the business end of the race now, Mung's got to think about this because he's getting caught by the guys behind. In fact, no, he's not really getting caught by the guys behind, but he's got to burn that penalty off somehow. And with 2 laps left to do it. Yeah, that's gonna be that will be tight. So yeah, gap now 7 seconds. So we started at nearly 12, it's now down to 7. Got a 1 second penalty there for exactly the reason I hate this track, but there we go. So again, I've got to burn that, but it wasn't stopping me pushing. I was just going to naturally get rid of it over the course of the next 2 laps. CJW-Racing holding that for 3rd at the minute. There's under no immediate threat from Warmid. And Mung's got rid of a tiny bit, he's got rid of a 10th of it. Surfer, though, importantly, is now carrying a little bit of a penalty himself. Yeah, and that's your lot. So for Jace, he's ruined those tyres. He is now into the 59s with those tyres. Yeah, Piper's having an awful time of it at the minute. It's down in the 2 minutes. He's having some bad laps. Meanwhile, at the top, coming to start the final lap. 58.2 that time round for Vin. 56.5 for me, so it's a bit slower. That'll explain the penalty. You get penalised and you lose your pace as well. So lifestyle very bad. CJW-Racing can Warmid with the much fresher tyres of the 2. Could be in a position to overtake, but with him carrying a penalty, he's not going to be able to make that move unless he overtakes him. Sorry, he's not going to be able to overtake him unless he goes with the penalty. That's what I meant to say. I didn't end up saying that, but that's what I meant to say. Mung has got rid of even more of his penalty, now down to just 1.3 seconds. Surfer is noticeably catching him as well. The gap between them can't be more than a second or so. we'll have a couple of drivers who finished the race. We've got JC here who's now finished the race, having gone past the start-finish line after the 30-minute time has elapsed, and Dave Piper's going to do the same thing now. Gap between me and Vin, 5 seconds. Again, I'll reduce that even more, but unless he has an off, it wasn't happening. Watman's got rid of his penalty, so he can have a go at CJW-Racing if he feels like he can make that move stick. Mung 1.3 seconds worth of penalty, gap to Surfer 1.7 seconds. So if he doesn't serve that by the line, that rounds up to 2 seconds and he will lose that position. So Mung's got to serve that on the line. So he needs a really good parabolica, basically, with this corner. So to take the win this time round is Vin. Pole position and the win. Lights to flag, basically. I started second, finished second, so not too mad at that. CJW-Racing, busy race for CJW-Racing. P3 for him. We've got Warmid in 4th. And then, yeah, we've got Mung, who's got to serve this penalty. Let's have a look how close this is. Did Surfer get him? So you'll see Mung slow down at the line. No, he didn't. Surfer didn't get him. Tim, 7th for Tim. Zaf, 8th for Mr. Zaf. GT Raffo in 9th. Infinity Decals in 10th. Tricky Treat in 11th. And Chi Chi is going to finish in 12th.